Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here with MJS Coaching Football. My background is my 38th year coaching football. I've either been a defensive, offensive, or special teams coordinator as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I want to talk to you about one of our pistol games, which is a two-man pass rush game that we call U. Okay? In another pistol game presentation, we had what we call Me, which was a two-man game away from the Rover. U is a two-man pass rush game that involves the Rover. So therefore, the Lucky Ringo to the Rover is made by the Rover. Pretty cool. So again, if you go see any of my playlists, but most notably the 3-4 base defense playlist, one of those disguises of our 3-4 is you got to figure out post snap. If you're the offense, is there for a fourth rusher? And if so, who is the fourth rusher? Well, in this case, it's going to be the Rover, who quite often is in coverage. So this tends to be successful if you don't go to the well too often for that reason. Okay, because the built-in disguise is, especially in this case versus 11 personnel, he's always a part of the front, knocking the tar out of the tight end and then dropping back and getting into coverage. Okay. So, pistol game again, two-man pass rush game. This ends up having four rushing the passer, but still only two-man game in that the Rover and the defensive end next to him work together. The nose is still what we call midline rusher to the quarterback, and the other defensive end away from the Rover is executing his normal outside cage. Okay, but it's still four rushing the passer, and see they're in green. It's a two-man game in terms of working in concert with one another. So in the U game, okay, and this helps the disguise as well, since the ball snap, we call it in a pass situation. More often than not, the surface, the tackle and guard path set, and so the Rover's doing what he always does. He's knocking back the tight end, but it's not as long because he's letting him go. This is trio coverage. See my zone blitz coverage playlist. And on the snap, the safeties are spinning towards the Rover, screwing down to pick up the tight end and rotating middle. Okay. Again, part of the disguise. Wait until the ball snapped. So the the defensive end up here in the top right, what's meant by stab B is he's going to take the step as if he's slanting, and then he's getting vertical immediately. So he's not stepping as hard because he's not looking at the guard. When he stab steps, it's more vertical, and instead of at the hip of the guard, it's at the inside foot of the tackle, and then he's getting vertical now. Okay, he's penetrating. Okay, and he's hoping to get the tackle to engage him. And then he's working, he's got to get back outside somehow. Okay, so I'll get back to him in a second, but that's why he's going first. Because typically what happens in our 3-4 here, the tackle pass sets looking to his outside C gap, and the guard looks to block the defensive end. So that's what the hope is, that continues. We say it's Bob, big on big, boom, boom. Okay. Now, so the Rover, the hard outside step involves shooting hands and knocking back the tight end, but then letting him go. Okay. And so then after that point, when he lets him go, he doesn't have to necessarily count 1,001 to 1,002 in his head, because this is going to be very quick penetration, the stab and the B. So he's going to go second, and immediately he will always be behind the defensive end, okay? But he's now has to read the guard again, because the offensive tackle is going to be gone. I can almost guarantee it, okay? So he's going to go butt side of the guard, which means he's either going to be in the A, see the dash line, or he's going to be in the B gap. Now, on the way, as he steps and he starts to penetrate inside, should the offensive tackle for some reason have hard set and he's still kind of on the line of scrimmage, he will then go butt side of the offensive tackle. Okay, so to answer that question, if the tackle is there, then he's going to go butt side of the tackle. But we haven't found that to be the case hardly ever. All right. So assuming that that holds true, this tackle is going to pass it vertically. Okay, and then it's up to read this guard here. If he's facing you, you're going to be butt side in the A gap. That's what we say. If he's facing you, you're butt side. Otherwise, if he's facing away or he's facing straight ahead, you're going to be in B gap. Okay, and that is the U stunt. Okay, again, two-man game to the rover, involving the rover. And the built-in disguise is, unless if blitzing, okay, he's not rushing the quarterback very often. Okay, unless he's blitzing, he's not rushing very often. So that's our built-in disguise. Hence the beauty of the pistol game, especially if we see with film study, they do in fact to the tight end side where the rover would be, and this is 11 personnel, which we see a ton of every single game. The tackle is the big on big. He's looking to the C gap. That's his responsibility. And then the guard typically works double read, B gap to A gap, B gap to A gap. So it's kind of a zone scheme, not so much a man scheme. There is double read. He looks inside to outside linebacker. That's a man read. There's also the double read in the sense of B gap, A gap. So in this case, we were hoping that the B gap's threatened, so he'll take the stabbing, penetrating defensive end, and he's just strictly a C gap defender. Okay? That's all. As usual, please, any questions at all, reach out to me at Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com, and I'm happy to get back to you.